Good morning and welcome. I'm Karen. This is Veronica's Dreams Coaching and Tarot. Today is Sunday. Happy Sunday. I hope hope you all are doing fantastic. I'm switching up. I'm going to use the Shadow Realm Tarot today. I've been sitting here going through it, shuffling. It's different. See, I've used it before, so let's get moving. I'm going to use the Radiant Wise to clarify. And the Radiant Wise is the Rider White deck, just a little shinier and thicker. So let's get going here. Okay, what do we need to know today? Nah, some of these are going to be upside down, I think. I can tell by the eyeball on the outside. Current situation. Ooh, the Fool. We had like the Fool as kind of like clarifying yesterday. Present influence is the Queen of Swords. Future influence, Nine of Swords. But that's okay, because sometimes having that as an influence, it kind of kickstart us a little bit. What is unexpected? Okay, this is going to be Four of Swords. Challenge. Knight of Cups. Strength. The Hermit. Where does this lead? Ace of Cups. The Moon. Ooh, the World. Interesting. Advice, please. King of Coins. Okay, so Temperance is at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so the Temperance can be about emotional balance. A lot of times I see it like putting the fire with the water like together, kind of really like that alchemy. But it also is alchemy as well, like creating something. I like, I'm kind of thinking about the reading yesterday a little bit, and I do feel like this is it's not completely using that same premise, but this is like you are trying to create something. You're trying to make something happen, create something new, and working through it. Now, I'm looking at like the Queen of Swords, and I'll show you the cards in a minute. The Queen of Swords and the present influence is making me think of, having direction. Now, with the Fool being the current, there's just like not quite the same, attitude, right? The Fool is jumping in, doing it, trusting, having faith, just going for it, not worried, carefree. The Queen of Swords is not carefree. It's very, this is where I'm going to go. This is what I'm going to do. I almost get the feeling like that's overwhelming. The Queen of Swords attitude. This is, putting too much boundaries up, right? The Queen of Swords has a direction. They're almost, they're what do you call it? Tunnel vision. They stay on track. They stay on track. And the Fool does not, right? The Fool is taking a leap of faith, going forward, just doing something. So I'm getting like this kind of interesting feeling like what's driving you with the Fool is like, I'm done with being on this path, and I feel like it's kind of part of yesterday where, okay, I'm on this path and it just doesn't feel like this is the way I need to go, which brings in the Fool, making you go, well, I'm not doing it. However, it does bring in some anxiety, which I think is fine, right? When we take a leap, yeah, okay, the idea is that you don't get anxious, but that's really not reality. When we really jump in, it can kind of, make us a little stressed. So tell me about this Fool here. What are we jumping into? What is this Fool? Ooh, 10 of Cups, 5 of Wands, 10 of Wands. So this situation, I mean, we'll clarify the Queen too. The 10 of Cups is the relationship. 5 of Wands, having conflict, kind of fighting, and it's been too much of a burden. So if there was a situation like that where there was a relationship, now this does not have to be love by any means, because we can have good relationships where it's just becoming a struggle. There's so much fight. It could be with a sibling, it could be with a best friend, it could be with anything. It doesn't mean like you put an end to something, right? Just because you're having the struggle, and the 10 of Wands is an ending, but it's also an ending to the weight. This is, then when I say weight, heaviness. The heaviness of this situation has just, you're done with that. And that's the Fool, is I'm done with this heaviness, I'm done with this weight on my back. Let's look at the Queen of Swords in the present influence. What does the Queen of Swords offer us? It's really interesting energies here. What does the Queen of Swords? Page of Swords, King of Coins. King of Coins is also in it. Okay, so I've got that Eight of Cups, which like reared its head a lot yesterday. The Page of Swords is the understanding, is that aha moment we also talked about. There is a feeling of either this is someone or you leveling up, and you've been walking away from a situation. The Fool says, so this is the influence. This is the path that you chose. And this is what's driving you. I don't know that I want to do this. I'm just going to dive in and maybe do something different. I do think it's interesting that the Hermit comes into play too, and the Four of Swords actually. Yeah, but you're not, you kind of like shrugging, should I walk away? Because this is where the Queen is leading you, walking away from a situation. And the Fool is kind of rebelling against that, saying I'm just gonna trust myself. It doesn't mean that you're not gonna walk away from a situation that needs you to walk away from. It means that you're not gonna stay on the same path that you have envisioned and put into place right in front of you. You're not going to submit to the stringentness of the Queen of Swords. So if there's something like, if someone's saying you got to do it this way, you got to do it this way, well, I'm not going to do it this way. I'm going to do it my way. And sometimes that can lead you into trouble, and sometimes it can not. So the future influence is the Nine of Swords. Now, I want to make sure I've got that right. Nine of Swords. This is stress. This is anxiety. This is like thinking about the future ahead of time and worrying about it before you even get there. That's the feeling I'm getting, because it's in the future. You're going to be going, am I doing the right thing? Like anticipating trouble instead of letting things ride out. So you decide you're going to take a leap of faith, but then you kind of go, oh shoot, like what if, what if, what if? So you're kind of get into that role. Now, this is an influence. So I do feel like it's influencing that Four of Swords and how you move forward. It's not necessarily that you're going to be anxious, but you may have anxious feelings that drive you to another decision. Tell me about this Four of Swords. Eight of Cups again, Eight of Swords again, King of Coins again. And the Eight of Swords I say again because we had that a lot yesterday. Or I feel like we did. Maybe it was only a couple times, but it felt like a lot. Yeah, you can't walk away. So the Four of Swords is right about healing, and you're realizing this comes in unexpectedly, and it has to do with, okay, walking away to what? To what? And I don't know that I can do this. King of Coins. Again, he's showing up all over the place. It's probably, it could be somebody, but it also could just be attitude or what you have as far as a goal. But I do feel like this is like you changing your mind. I need this. This is what I want. Kind of being like stubborn about it. The Four of Swords to me is saying that maybe I've healed and maybe it's okay. I don't need to walk away. I'm not saying you don't need to do something different, but maybe I don't need to walk away. Giving you a closer look at the Four of Swords. These cards are pretty dark. And I think it comes as a surprise because there's something happening here. I mean, the Knight of Cups comes in as a challenge. So what you want may not happen here. And this, again, it doesn't have to be love. Think about the Knight of Cups is a gift of caring. I mean, it depicts a romance for sure. But I think like might be what you want, but is it going to happen? And how do I get there? That's what the challenge is. I almost feel like the challenge is, and it also could be like I see this King of Cups or King of Coins showing up a couple different times, and also the Ten of Cups showed up as a clarifier. And which card am I thinking of? The Eight of Cups, Eight of Swords. So I feel like you don't want to walk away from this situation because there's something here that you're really attached to. So I'm almost going there. I don't think it's you trying to find anything. I think you don't want to give it up. Whoever to you represents that King of Cups or Knight of Cups, excuse me. So tell me more. Tell me more about this challenge, please, with the Knight of Cups. What is this? What is this? Oh, all kinds of, we got the Lovers falling and the Three of Pentacles, I think, though. Tell me more about this. Okay, so the Hermit, Two of Wands, Ten of Wands. So the Hermit's in your strength. It's, you know this has been a burden. You've discovered that you do need to take a different route. Two of Wands. And the Hermit is the discovery, doing the discovering. And the Ten of Wands, though, is the burden. It's a challenge because you don't want to move away from this. But I feel like this is a situation that weighs heavy on you. Again, we had that this is the second time Ten of Wands has come up. There's something really hard about this. And even though the Knight of Cups says it feels good occasionally, and that's what the challenge is, because you know that it feels good occasionally, it's time to move away from this. Let's look at the Hermit and the Strength. I still feel like you know what you need to do because you've made a discovery. It's in your strength. You are not taking this lightly. Some people may think you are, or you may not be putting action in right away, but you're not taking it lightly because that's the Hermit. You're really focused on trying to figure this out and find the answers, and that's what the Hermit is. And it's in your strength. So I feel like this is, it is coming up, and it's a big deal, and it isn't a big deal. Because the reason why I say it's not a big deal is because you know what you're putting your best foot forward in the discovery mode here. Tell me more about this Hermit. Queen of Cups, Three of Wands, Five of Pentacles. You know exactly. Yeah, you've discovered this. So, you've discovered that the things aren't going in the direction that they need to. You do know you need to do it differently. This is something that matters to, it's close to your heart. It matters to you and you want to take care of things. This empathy card with the Queen of Cups. The Three of Wands is you get it. You see what can happen here. The Five of Pentacles is you know that things haven't been going the way they should. So in other words, you're realizing, does it need to take a different route? Can I get help at all this way? Is it ever going to work out? But the Hermit is showing you that things aren't okay. They aren't because of the Five of Pentacles. Now, the Five of Pentacles doesn't mean it's down and out. What it means is most of the time with the Five of Pentacles, why are they passing up the church? Why are they walking past that? It's right there. It's lit up. Why are they walking past it? Maybe it didn't help before. Maybe they know or heard, that heard from somebody else, right? This isn't going to work. So it's like, I know this might not work. This help might not be what I need. I might need something different. And I feel like that's what the Hermit is. And you know this. You understand that it's not necessarily... The Three of Wands says you haven't necessarily seen the answers, but you do know that you need to do it differently. So then we have the Ace of Cups. So we've got the Ace of Cups, the Moon, and the World. We've got quite a few majors here. Ace of Cups, a new opportunity, a new love, a new way of looking at things, fresh. A lot of times I think with the Ace of Cups as being fresh. Like the Ace of Wands, it's exciting. The Ace of Cups is kind of a refresh. The Moon, though, there's still things are still not clear. There is something new coming in, but things are still unclear. But we do have the World. I feel like the World is reaching to the point where it will start being clear. It's not like the end of the situation. It's the end of it being unclear, but we'll take a look. So first, let's look at that Ace of Cups. What is the Ace of Cups, please? Okay, King of Swords, Queen of Wands, Eight of Pentacles. This is someone that, okay, so the King of Swords, Queen of Wands, this is a relationship that you have been working through with the Eight of Pentacles. This relationship, think of it as there's a King of Swords in it and a Queen of Wands. The King and Queen reverse, it doesn't have to be the gender, but someone who is extremely passionate and exciting, and the other person is very kind of like on a path, like we talked about with that Queen of Swords. And the Eight of Pentacles is working through this. So this is something that you've been working on. Now, it could be a new way of looking at it. It doesn't mean this is the beginning of a new relationship. However, I do feel like it's a refresh or a restart, and I don't have any restart cards to say that, but that's what it feels like to me. What is the Moon, please? I feel like this is like, wanting to figure out how to discover something. That's a cool card, isn't it? So let's look at that. Some of these cards are pretty cool. Okay, tell me about the Moon. Star, Five of Cups, Justice. So remember, the Moon is like the shadows, right? When you see things in the light of the Moon, they're not quite crisp and clear. So they can be uncertain. That's the way I see the Moon all the time. I mean, rarely do I see the Moon differently. The Star to the Five of Cups, like I had all of these hopes and dreams, right? And the Five of Cups, I was disappointed. But can these be balanced? Can the right thing happen? It's more like a question, and that's what you need to, that's what's not clear. You know that you've been disappointed, but is this really coming back together and balancing itself out and becoming okay, right? So there's going to be a point here where I feel like that Ace of Cups is refreshing. It feels good, right? But there's still a part of you, Hermit, in your strength that you want it. You're still not 100% clear on how this will work or how it won't work. You may be overthinking it a little bit too, because we can't always control how something will or won't work. But I feel like this has kind of been ongoing, right? The World comes next. I feel like this is a completion of that, but let's double check that. The World and the completion of that not understanding. It could be a completion altogether, reaching that goal. And it's interesting too, the King of Coins being in the advice. Oh, oh, interesting. So yeah, there's a change here. So I do feel like you're going to become clear. The change comes from healing. There's there's there is a pause, or was a pause, but this world is about change, and we've got an energy coming straight at you with the Knight of Swords. Let's go ahead and see what comes after the world. We'll take one more card after the world. Oh, death. Yeah, change, transformation. Things are changing, things are growing. It's a really pretty card. I like it. The colors are really kind of cool. And another, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 majors. I mean, there's quite a few cards here, but 6 majors out of 11, more than half. So your advice is King of Coins. The King of Coins has come up as a clarifier. So I feel like it's, but I don't feel like that's what it is. I feel like the King of Coins in the advice is make sure that you're taking care of the things around you. You know, like this is an important situation to you, obviously. Really important with the cards that are coming up. But don't let it sidetrack you from what's important in your life, your home, your family, your work, money, all of the things. Don't let this situation sidetrack you. Um, Not that you can't spend time on it, not that you can't work through it, but don't let it be the only thing, because the King of Coins takes care of everything. You know, they make sure that the family's okay. They make sure that the home's okay. They make sure the money's coming in. They're watching very carefully, the King of Coins. So it's asking you to do that. Just don't lose sight of the other things around you. You know, like when you get involved with something new that's exciting and fun, and sometimes we are so focused on that we kind of let other things go a little bit. Maybe not in an irresponsible way, but we can let things go. This is really pointing that you don't want to do that. And maybe if it is a relationship, would they do that? Would they let their family go? Would they let their job? You know what I mean? So don't put so much energy into that you lose who you are and the people and things around you that you have now. So I feel like that's what that is. So there you have your reading for today. I hope you liked it. Please let me know. Take care and have a beautiful day.